My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Talking Tennis. And we're here for the Indian Wells semi-final, men's semi-finals day on Saturday, the 14th of March. And we're in for an interesting one. We've obviously got two semi-finals to come. Second one is another installment in the rivalry between Carlos Alcaraz and Daniil Medvedev. First, we're looking at Alexander Zverev and Jannik Sinner, which has been an odd rivalry, to say the least. If you look at their history, like early on in their careers, it felt like Zverev might have had an edge over Sinner before Sinner became the machine that he is known as now. And since then, Zverev has hardly been able to touch him. I mean, look at the way that Sinner's dismissed him in the 2024 Australian Open final. No, it was 2025. What year are we on? 2025, it was when Sinner dismissed Zverev quite comfortably. And that was the beginning of a really tough year for Zverev that he only really kind of put together later on in the grand scheme of things. Now, we also have now that, like, Zverev did push Sinner when they played each other in Vienna last year, but then Sinner kind of dismissed him in the ATP finals when they played there, and it's not really been the same sort of kind of challenge. So Sinner, heavy favourite, but if we know that someone's going to be contrary, it's going to be whoever my co-host is. Having said that, I'm not entirely sure if they're. Are you ready to join or not? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just checking. You don't want your the other person in the room to be on screen or not. So, all right. I'm going to bring you on in 3, 2, 1. Right. Well, Sinner is serving first, but Zach, if you want to be contrary, now is the time.
Yeah, well, I'm here with America's Nepo baby Archie. Tennis is Nepo baby. He kind of transcends America. He's saying, hey, I'm stoked to be here with you, Nick. Obviously, Sinner's going to win this match, probably going to be in straight sets. Zverev has all this talent in the world, except for his brain don't work that good. And today is not going to be the day for him. What do you think, Nick?
No, I don't see it working for him either, to be honest. I am not convinced that he, as we see Zverev start the match off with an unreturnable serve.
Can I just say, I did think that Arthur Fee was going to give him a bit more of a match in the semis. And so I want to give credit where credit is due to Zverev, but also because Fee is an amazing talent, an amazing player. He's working his way back, but shown himself to be at a relatively high level already. I was expecting more from Fee, though. Did you catch it in the match? Can you tell me what was that good, or was Fee a little bit off?
I'm going to be honest with you, Zach. This is the first ATP match I've watched at Indian Wells.
Thank you for doing feminism. And also, I don't blame you. The WTA is legit awesome. There are so many personalities and players. I did a little preview for the finals. Sabalenka, Rybakina. I mean, outside of Sinner, Alcaraz, that's one of the top 3 matchups that you hope to see on either tour. So yeah, really, really great time for the WTA. Thanks for making an exception for us today and joining for this match.
Yeah, I think it's just been that there's not all the matches that I wanted to watch have been on when I was asleep. Indian Wells is not an amazing time zone for me. So just to make it obvious, Zach, the day's play starts at 7 p.m. my time, which means all these legendary matches that did take place, I would have really, really wanted to see, like the really tough Sinner Fonseca match that happened. That was a night match. Slept through that. The Djokovic Draper match that everyone is raving about, I have not seen, other than the incredible rally that Djokovic managed to win, have not seen a ball of it because, again, asleep during it.
I'm gonna be for that match, which was, it sounds like by all accounts, incredible. I just got a text from I woke up to a text from my dad. Draper is a beast! Exclamation point. And I was like, oh, I know I missed a good one. And I also know who won, because there's no way he would have said that if Djokovic pulled it out. Really quickly, Kit Dr. Zach just wants to say that Jannik Sinner in the Nike kit, yet again, an embarrassing effort by everybody involved at Nike. It's a perfectly fine kit for a guy playing at their local country club, but this is Jannik Sinner, the #2 player in the world, and he looks, like he's wearing some middle of the mall-ish, to use the parlance of our times.
Country club is exactly the phrase that I would use to describe that kit. In fact, I would go even further and say that Sinner looks too young to be wearing that kit. It should be being worn by a man who's twice or 3 times his age.
That is absolutely men's 40+ Sunday All-Star, UTR 4-5 player outfit. It's a joke. Why? Like, I don't understand Nike. They're a gazillion dollar, multi-billion dollar company. Surely they have somebody with a creative bone somewhere over there. I guess they just aren't going to put them on Jannik Sinner's account.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are they giving Alcaraz this tournament?
I don't know. At least they cut the sleeves off sometimes, give him a little bit of color. Probably not that much, but they definitely give Alcaraz a little bit more razzle dazzle. But also, I think a lot of fashion is how you wear it, and Alcaraz wears it a little differently than Jannik Sinner.
That's true. And Sinner is a bit more kind of straight-laced. So the look, if it's going to work for anyone, it's going to work for him. I mean, let's face it, when it comes to tennis, if it's going to work for anyone, it's going to work for him. And that was a really efficient sort of serve volley to get to 30-15. Zverev held his serve to love. And really, to me, that seems to be Zverev's main hope, is that that somehow he just serves out of a tree for the entire match and hopes Sinner chokes in the tie breaks.
Yeah. No, if he's hitting his first serve at an 80% clip, sure, he can take anybody, including Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, to a tiebreaker in any set. So a thing that I am interested in as Sinner serving at 40-15 here to even the score at 1-all is the body type and the changing body type of players. And one thing you've seen on tour with really since Alcaraz burst in the scene, we're seeing players put on a bit more bulk. Young Zverev, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, that was the ideal tennis build there. 6'6" or 6'5" or taller, really, really trim. And I look at Zverev and I wonder if he's packed on a little bit of muscle in the offseason to get more of the Draper, Shelton, Alcaraz build. And I think that we are going to see players putting on just a bit more muscle to have a little bit more pop, because that's the only way you can beat Alcaraz. You can't beat Alcaraz by outlasting him. And how do you add weapons when, your technique is flawless? It's in the gym. Yeah.
I mean, that's a question that I've never fully subscribed to the idea that muscle mass matters that much in tennis. But I'm not a pro. None of us here are pros. So I don't know the necessary difference into it. And maybe, Zach, you might have a bit more of an insight because you do play day in, day out, like the kind of the
It's so funny. Roger Federer would suggest that muscle mass doesn't matter. Rafael Nadal would suggest that it does. And those, were the two of the 3 best players from the previous era. And Djokovic, his body has changed quite a bit over the course of his career, somewhere in the middle. So I think the range of body types of the sort of the greats from the last generation or two would suggest that it is not a requirement, right? I do think in this specific era with this current technological setup and the polys and the extra spin that provides, that a little bit extra could be useful. But also, I mean, at this point, tennis is as much an endurance sport as anything, particularly in the majors when they're going 3-4 hours pretty regularly now.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. And I would also say, Look, the guy, it's not like the guy doesn't have muscle, but Jannik Sinner is not the bulkiest guy either. And he's, world number 2, was world number 1 for a while, Alcaraz's main rival. Could he put on a little bit more muscle mass? No. Yes. Does he need to? Not that much.
Some might call him a beanpole almost, but he definitely, I mean, we have seen him tone up and add strength over his relatively young career for sure. To your point, yeah.
Yeah. But he's not jacked in the same way as Alcaraz looks, but I don't see him wearing sleeveless shirts anytime soon.
Yeah, if he weren't a 6'4" redhead in Ibiza, you wouldn't go, "Wow, who's that?" Whereas Carlos Alcaraz, even if he was just a guy, in all likelihood, when he's walking into the club, people are saying, "Wow, who's that?"
Well, that's kind of what he loves about being Ibiza, doesn't it, Carlos?
One of the many things I would imagine. I also think, the women's body types are criticized and critiqued and torn apart by the internet, and it's oftentimes total nonsense and a waste of time and counterproductive and pretty creepy and weird. And so, if that is happening, I think it's absolutely fair to examine the evolving body type on the men's side of things, and I think it's a nice change of pace that we're talking about their physiques for a change.
Definitely. Well, at least it's only fair, right? And I think we should model the kind of conversations that we have about the women through this. I think we've got a few. We might have another contributor joining in a moment, so I just need a thumbs up when they're ready to join.
Is it there's my guy. What up, Carson?
What's up?
You took control of that epic wonderfully, Carson.
How's the match going so far?
3 games. Go with serve pretty straightforwardly. The only point against the serve was on Sinner. We only had 1 point against serve. That was on Sinner's last service game.
We're in game number 4, and we've yet to have an interesting point. But I think that Nick and I are having a conversation that certainly I find interesting, and it just got a little bit more interesting with you getting here, Carson. Neither player's serve bot, but this matchup could very much be serve bot-ish.
Could be. The heat will take an effect on that as well. It's a little over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So very, very warm. Court's going to be really quick. You see a 130-mile-per-hour ace from Jannik Sinner there. So, yeah, I think especially in these conditions, and you've probably discussed this already, but Sinner is not exactly a huge fan of super warm temperatures like this. Is that Baby Archie?
This is Baby Archie. He's teething, and so he's just absolutely mauling my finger right now. I should have. You know what? I did bring a little chew toy for him, and this is a little dadding 101. This is talking dadhood. If you've got a baby who's teething, you just need something for them to chew on, because they're going to chew on something. It's going to be probably their shirt a lot, but give them something a little fun. Jazz it up for them, as we have another almost certainly boring service game here. I would love it as this is one of those matches where, like, I actually wish they were playing with pens, a slower, worse ball, because we would get a little bit more action. Like, whenever there's a fresh can out there, I expect to see some, there we go, very quick service games. Oh, let's eat again.
Never mind. Yeah, because they did change the ball for Indian Wells this year. I do remember them talking about this.
Dunlop, correct?
Yeah,
and
Dunlop.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I play with a can of Dunlops today. Terrible. There are no U.S. Opens. I mean, like Dano Medvedev knows better than I do, so don't take my word for it.
You think there's no U.S. Opens because the U.S. Open is better or worse?
Far better. It is, to me, the Wilson U.S. Open is the best ball on the market, although I do have a soft spot for the Diadems. I just think Wilson makes a very nice ball. The Slazenger ball is pretty good. Penn is the worst. Nick, do you have a ball type that you like in particular?
I tend to just play with whatever I've got / whoever my opponent's got. I do, like when I was in a league, a chap bulk bought a bunch of US Open balls and then sold them to us. He basically said, I need some balls. I go get these in bulk for ridiculously cheap. Does anyone want some? And I paid him back. And yeah, what we found playing with those in the league was they were unbelievably tough to hit through. I think it's one of these unbelievably tough to hit through, and so it was interesting. It felt like a lot harder than kind of the balls we were used to, like structurally. So whereas we're used to softer, bouncier balls, at least what we were playing with. So it changed things a lot. So we weren't necessarily a fan.
Eric Pushin 975 or Eric Puttian, however you say it, says, boring. Eric, I'm curious, are you talking about the match or are you talking about the 3.5 of us on the stream, or all the above? You know, roast us. We don't care. We're big boys. We can handle it as long as you're having a good time, because it's all about the fans.
Yeah. We'll just try and we're here to have a conversation, and to anyone else who's watching, like, you don't have to talk to us about the match. You can talk about anything. Just literally just do a Q&A. We're just going to have a chat about tennis whilst this match is going on, because we're not expecting anything major to be taking place. Like, Sinner may have had an opening there, but he's botched the return on the backhand, 15-all. So,
Nick, are there any topics that are off limit today, just out of curiosity?
Well, I would say anything that could get us demonetized.
Right. The hunt for the Holy Grail, we can, like, we're good on that one, yeah?
Yeah, sure. It depends on which Holy Grail you're talking about.
Oh, that's a good question. Which one do you think I'm talking about?
Well, I'm talking about the one that's in that ridiculous French castle that it throws insults at people, like your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries.
Oh, is a little Monty Python there?
That's a little Monty Python, yes.
Monty Python. See, maybe across the pond.
Yeah.
If we're ranking Monty Python star vehicles, I think Faulty Towers is my all-time favorite. Just want to be on the record about that. I know this is not talking Faulty Towers, not talking Cleese, it's talking tennis, but that's a 10 out of 10 TV series.
Amazing show, I would agree. But I don't think anyone else from that group made anything close to it. We're into a bit of a rally here, by the way. Sinner's got an opening in this Zverev service game, so we probably need to cover, in case this is kind of going to change the direction of the match, is an incredibly long rally, which is not a surprise when you've got Zverev on the court.
Basically, every game that goes to 30-all or this returner gets to 30, it's a big deal. And this is our first of the match. Could very well be our only of the match. I doubt that it will be. But yeah, certainly Sinner is going to be looking to capitalize here. Nick, you want to give us the call?
The backhand failed and ends up in the middle of the net. 24-shot rally. It was Sinner was the one who was broken down, which, I mean, I'm surprised Sinner was just quite happy to rally with Zverev there, Carson.
A little bit. Feels like shorter points are probably Sinner's way through today.
Yeah.
Big pressure point here that serves a little bit out.
Yeah, saying so far back behind the baseline. That might be a sign of how the ball's kicking up in this heat. Or he's looking at Daniel Medvedev in the semi-finals and going, well, if he's managed to get this far, then maybe he's onto something. We've got second serve, which was let. So Zverev has to reset. I mean, whilst we're waiting, we'll see how this goes. While we're waiting, is Medvedev back? As in, like, not back as in like he's going to win Grand Slams, but back kind of where he should be results-wise, performance-wise.
It feels a bit like the dead cat bounce. Like I think that we've got this might be the last solid year for Daniel Medvedev. I don't think that he's got the hunger, and that's okay. That's not a knock. He won a major. He's had a great career. He is not one of those guys who will be lost out tennis. He's going to have a great time playing Counter-Strike, probably a better time playing Counter-Strike, maybe coaching. As we get a break point here, Nick, do you give us the ball?
Yeah, we'll do the call here. So we've got, Zverev is taking his time before serving, but he's going to deliver the ball now. Sinner's all over it, but it's another missed serve, and Zverev has now got so much pressure on the second serve, which for a long time was a massive weak spot in his game, the one that everyone told him that he needed to fix. And now it's under so much pressure right now from Jannik Sinner, who tacks the return. A backhand from Zverev to the Sinner backhand cross court. Zverev is going to keep trading backhands with him. Sinner going to change direction. Forehand from Zverev to the Sinner backhand, trying to keep away from the forehand. Now he changes direction, misses it. Sinner's breaks, and it's 3-2, and so far going how he expects it, Carson.
Basically, and I mean, the way this that he's been serving so far, you wonder if that's all he needs in this first set.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I do not think that Alexander Zverev is going to break Jannik Sinner today. Obviously, Jannik Sinner has broken Zverev. I think I'm going to go ahead and put my score call in at 6-3, 6-4.
You think, well, let's see, Sinner break, so Sinner holds at 4-2. That means, I think, yeah, Sinner would have to break Zverev again in this set to get to 6-3.
That's right.
Okay, you think it's going to be double break this set? Already Sky Sports promoting it. So yeah, now we know the times that the matches are going to be. So the women's final is going to be 6 p.m. UK time, which means it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern time, a little bit earlier for if you're in California. And then the men's final will be 3 hours later, potentially a Sinkaraz match. We will see. But that will be sort of late afternoon, late afternoon in America. We've got some good questions coming in from Ashley. Good to see you back, Ashley. Well, first of all, Ashley, loving the half a commentator who her face is now covering. I will remove that. Baby Archie. And then a question for Ashley, which I'm going to let Zach contribute on first, and then Carson.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good question, and so my theory is that both of them, they really are pretty close to the apex of what they do. Jannik Sinner continues to have the best rally ball on tour. Zverev is a top 3 server, and he doesn't miss very much, and so they're not known for their variety. They both play a very similar style every single time they walk out on court. And when they're practicing, I assume what they're doing is trying to just take their style up 1%. They're not really adding new tools. Zverev could make it less predictable if he came into the net more. He could make it less predictable if he changed up his shot pattern and played a little bit more aggressively. But he's, 27, 28 years old, and I just don't think that he's shown the ability or willingness to try either one of those things in match play. Carson, I'm curious, do you agree?
Yeah, I think I'd expand on Zverev serving a little bit, which we have conversations about this fairly often, but his high percentage serving really coming out of that period a few years ago, he kind of decided to go more with high percentage accuracy serves rather than hitting small spots that are a little more risky. When you're serving, that lends to you being in a lot more rallies, which against someone who plays defense as good as Jannik Sinner does, he's going to be able to get to neutral quicker and more often than most players are. So that kind of plays into Sinner's game of just hitting from the baseline a little bit, which isn't Zverev's strength as much.
I want to note the serve return position from Zverev as well. I actually just don't think you can beat Jannik Sinner if you're anyone not named Carlos Alcaraz returning from where he is. I think that gives Jannik Sinner too much time to recover, too much time to establish his court position. I think that his game plan fundamentally cannot and will not work from his serve return position alone. You cannot beat Jannik Sinner playing butt on the fence unless you're the greatest shot maker to ever live, Carlos Alcaraz.
Big talk from Zach on Alcaraz there. I would, I mean, let's face it, he just make these balls right out. But yeah, I agree with that. I think there's Zverev needs to be more willing to take risks if he's going to beat either of these guys. If not both of them, to do something. So, and he's not a risk taker naturally, and that's what's gone to trouble before as well. Like why he loses relatively often. Sometimes you think if he just took a bit more of a risk, he might have wrestled control and dealt that big psychological blow. But he prefers to outlast his opponents rather than try to knock him down. He's more of a Rocky Balboa than an Apollo Creed. Will kind of, although having said that, Rocky Balboa won, so in the second one.
Guys, speaking of Rocky Balboa, do you remember that time in Rocky IV where he single-handedly beat communism? That was actually based on a true story. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I remember reading about it in history. That's I mean, Zach, you're talking like you were old enough to be there, which I find hard to believe.
No, so I do love a good 80s movie. I don't want to say I have an encyclopedic knowledge of 80s movies. I will say I have an encyclopedic knowledge of Sylvester Stallone 80s vehicles specifically. And since we're on this subject, that I guess that Nick, you've been kind enough to bring up, if y'all haven't seen the movie Over the Top, you have got to watch it. Sylvester Stallone reestablishes his relationship with his son by winning an arm wrestling, by competing in an arm wrestling tournament. I don't want to give it away. He's a truck driver. His son's like a snooty rich kid. It's a whole thing. He drives him in a truck across the country to Las Vegas to compete in this arm wrestling tournament. You've got it. Oh, and also to shift that he's going into like beast mode, he takes his hat, which is forward, and he turns around backwards. It's called symbolism. Look it up.
It's also called On the Nose. Anyway.
It's the kind of subtlety you can count on in Sylvester Stallone 80s movies.
Yeah. Look, nothing could possibly beat the experience I had of watching sort of the most on the nose quotes symbolism than watching, oh gosh, what was that movie? It's a Schwarzenegger movie.
Was it Daddy's Home for Christmas? Another great movie. Not an 80s movie.
No, it's the line.
Conan the Barbarian.
Like I said, I said I would end you last. I'm trying to try not to get us demonetized.
Things that could get us demonetized. Are we allowed to talk? So in the United States, we have had somebody named Prince who became a former prince. Are we allowed to talk about any former European princes, or is that?
I would suggest let's not.
It's just like Carson's from Minnesota, Prince. You're from England, Prince. Once upon a time. Well, we can leave it for now. We can
take this conversation offline. Zverev. I mean, look, the fact we're having all these tangents suggests it's not the most thrilling match. Sinner just hit a lovely backhand winner at the line to get 30 all. But right now, it does feel like Zverev is just trying to serve to defend. And if the minute it gets into a rally, it feels like it's Sinner kind of in the ascendancy here. So to go back to kind of tennis stuff, a question I kind of came up with.
Second break incoming. Second break incoming.
There we go. All right. Well, I should be there in a moment. I'm about to see the break point being set up. There we go. Zverev's broken. You might be wrong. Zverev. By the way, hello, Chica. Nice to see you. I hope you're enjoying the tennis. As we've got Jamie Foxx in the house.
That is Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat basketball player. Quick.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All good.
They look very similar.
It's the facial. There's a facial hair. Jimmy Butler is a tennis enthusiast, and I think he's actually starting to play himself. Just as Dwayne Wade, another former Miami Heat player, did.
I've never watched basketball, so very easy for me to get that wrong. 30-40, second serve for Zverev. Tell you what, though, if it's a double break, you're still going to technically be wrong, Zach, because you predicted 6-3, and this could be a 6-2 set. Backhand Sinner's the forehand Zverev cross court, way out, and Sinner's going to serve for the sets at 5-2. This feels very straightforward, Carson.
Yeah, it has been so far, as our many tangents so far in this conversation suggest, but Sinner's playing incredibly so far.
Yeah, he is. So let's talk about it. I want to put a hypothetical to you that I've been playing with for a bit. So here's the hypothetical. Let's say for some reason, just tennis goes insane and bans all the Grand Slam champions, or they completely change how it all works. But let's just say that we have a men's singles draw, in a Grand Slam. I mean, you could walk your way through all four majors to see how likely it was, where Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic, Daniel Medvedev, I think those are the only Grand Slam champions on tour, Stan Wawrinka, and Marin Cilic. Like, those guys are not in the draw because they're either not allowed to be, or by some horrible twist of fate, they're not able to be. Who would you say is the most likely to win? Is there a clear favorite, or would it be every man for himself? And the reason why I'm asking is because we're watching the man who a lot of people would say in that scenario would be the favorite. Although I would say it depends on which slam you're talking about.
That's a great question.
Take it away, Carson. Yeah, after you.
I think let's just break it down slam by slam.
Yeah, do it. I was hoping you'd say that.
Can we do one each of us to weigh in on each slam and just kind of keep it rolling that way?
Yeah.
We want to do all 4.
Let's do all 4. Yeah, Australian. Yeah. I mean, Zverev's obviously been to the finals there. Feel like he would be a favorite.
I would argue he's the best performing player outside of Sinkaraz and Djokovic this year as well.
Yeah. He would be up there. On fast courts like Australia, you have to feel like someone like Taylor Fritz would have more of an opening than in some other places.
Diminor with the home crowd.
Yep, Diminor with the home crowd.
Doesn't have the weapons. Doesn't have the weapons to perform in the second week of a major.
Against everybody else, I would say yes. Against Alcaraz and Sinner, no.
I just think like to get there, he's gonna have to beat like a Fritz and a Shelton, and I don't see him in a best of 5 doing that against those weapons. I can see him beating one. I like the level is so good throughout the top 50 right now. It's just hard for me to see David.
I thought he was playing pretty well until he got dismantled by Alcaraz. So I'm gonna push back and say no. I think Diminor in a 5-setter would in Australia, only in Australia,
over Draper, over Shelton, over Lerner Tien. Like I don't know, man. I
believe he can. I believe he could.
Oh. I have a hard time seeing him beating Zverev. I have a hard time seeing him beating Fritz, Shelton, Draper. Fee, honestly, at this point, and those all Medvedev, like it's a long list.
Medvedev wouldn't be in the tournament because he won the slams. So
yeah, he won the slam.
Right. You're right.
I think he's got wins over him. I mean, like, look, is it likely? No, but I think as Matthew says, like also Diminor's got the mentality and he's got the endurance to last 5 sets. And grind it out. But also, as Matthew's also saying, Fritz would be Zverev's biggest threat in that sort of Australian Open setup. So he's agreeing with you guys there.
I think about someone lower in the rankings like Gabriel Diallo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would he be more of a threat? Like, he's got a big serve, has a pretty big game. Like,
you know who we haven't mentioned that would always be a threat in that setup? And I mean, he's just as likely to lose round 1 as he is to win. Bublik.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be, I mean, so I don't want both Sinner and Alcaraz to miss a major with injury or anything. But if you this was a great question, Nick, because like there's at least 11 guys that can seriously that you can like earnestly make a case for.
Yeah. And that's just the Australian Open, as we've got a set point for Sinner that we're just in the middle of a rally for. Let's see if he can convert it. But no, he's missed 2 set points already.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Matthew's wanting to move us on to clay. So, Roland Garros. Who are your title favourites? Kind of there.
I mean, the 2 that Matthew just put up here, Ruud and Zverev.
Yeah.
Feel like these would be favorites as much as anyone else.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Musetti, obviously.
Oh, Musetti, totally.
Like he would have massive chances there.
I would have said Tsitsipas back in the day, but not anymore.
Yeah, maybe not anymore.
Does Dimitrov have a chance? Like a Dimitrov? And on Dimitrov, like if there's no major winner, and then also again, if we're doing France and they've got the home crowd, and wow, what a home crowd! I just gotta toss out Fee one more time.
Yeah.
Sinner's just got the first set 6-2 as Zverev's backhand goes super over the baseline. Just to update on that. You're spot on, Zach. That French crowd would potentially carry Arthur Fils to the win there, probably. Like he'd be very much in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you're saying Dimitrov on clay. I would have thought you'd be seeing him more on a faster court, but he could do clay, but maybe not over 5 sets. I could see him winning a Masters.
It goes to what I believe Matthew said about it. What's between the ears. I like the veterans. I like the kids and I like the veterans. A Zverev and a Tsitsipas, they're kind of in the danger zone where they just have so much damage. They've gotten so close. They've been told that like they're destined, and I think that they would be in their heads. Whereas the veterans, like the guys 30 plus, they have nothing to lose, and the young guys, they just don't have that damage yet. So I would bet on somebody under say 24 or over say 29.
Yeah,
and this is across all 4.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's face it. We've ended up throwing out several people. We've gone beyond filling a semi-final with potential title winners in both the examples so far.
It's also, I mean, when you take Sinkaraz out of it, the draw matters so much. You know, if you go 5 against Corentin Moutet in France, you might, and your de Minaur, like, how do you perform against Draper the next day? Does that take you down just a little bit? If you're Draper going 5 against Valentin Vachereau in France, are you able to perform the next day against a Taylor Fritz? And it's like, it would be a really fun tournament if they do something like this, which seems unlikely, but crazier things have happened. And at some point in time, both Sinner and Alcaraz, in all likelihood, will miss the same tournament at some point in the next 10 years. By the way, you know who it's tragic that none of us have mentioned, and I doubt would in earnest? Rune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a non-entity right now. And part of that's because he's injured, he's been out, but also like, come on, do we really think that he would be the guy?
All right,
No.
I'm going to say this now. If it's going to be anywhere, it would be RG in this scenario.
Yes,
I think he's in there with for RG as well. He's
Him and Rude both. It would have to be RG. Although I guess Rude, in theory, made the U.S. Open, but I
don't see him doing that again.
Which player? Let's imagine that you get a whole calendar slam of no Sinkaraz. Which player are you the most confident is winning one?
One. Okay. I know the answer. Taylor Fritz.
Carson, who you got?
I was going to go Fritz. For the sake of being, of not just like having the same answer, probably Shelton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like my answer, but I'm going to be honest. It's Zverev for me. Like, if you look at the careers of players who have never won a major, Zverev is the best player and has had by far the best career of somebody that hasn't won a major. The Olympics, the end of the year, the number of Masters, like if he's got 4 cracks at it, if it's just the one, I think, he's a mental weakling and he's going to crumble. Yeah. But if he's got 4, I think he gets one. I think,
and it's most likely to be Australia, if anywhere, or Roland Garros. So yeah, you're right. Zverev is there. I'm just trying to be a bit different because I maybe trust Fritz's mentality more than Zverev's, especially if they were to play each other. Unless it was on clay, then Zverev would win it.
Now, if you get to the U.S. Open and Zverev hasn't won one yet, no chance. No, like again, he just like some players are meant to be front runners, and that's Zverev. He's not meant to be a guy who grinds it out and grinds his way back into it. And I think part of that is that he just has such immense physical gifts and was so good at such a young age and was told by many, many serious people, the question is not, will you win a major? The question is how many? And it went to his head. And then he got, the big 3 extended their run. And then Sinkaraz were here and he just got passed over. And I think it's hard to overstate how much damage that can do to a player's psyche.
Zverev just balloons that forehand. It's 15-13 in his opening service game with set 2. And the way he was walking, I literally thought he was going to walk to the net to retire. He decided against it and has decided to play on. But I wouldn't be surprised if he quit right now because he is just not getting anywhere in this match. Matthew, by the way, good answer with Djokovic. In real life, yes, if you took Justin Sinkaraz out, but we're taking all the Grand Slam champions out. In this conversation. So Djokovic would not be in this draw either. So, okay, Wimbledon, my 2 picks for the title, my leading 2 picks for that title would be Fritz or Bublik.
Oh, good picks.
Yeah, those are good.
I'm going to throw Shelton in there. Shelton's a 5-set guy. Shelton doesn't even get going until the fourth set.
Shelton is a contender at pretty much all of them.
Well, I'll pull him off for Roland Garros. I think.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. We don't have red clay in him. I mean, we have like 3.
I don't think he's bad on it. I don't think he's bad on it. He's more vulnerable on it. But I don't. You're right. He wouldn't be one of the favorites.
But also, it neutralizes his greatest weapons: that huge forehand and that huge serve.
Yeah.
That being said, the way he was utilizing the kick in clay season last year, really pushing people out wide and opening up the court, I thought was pretty interesting, and maybe he could build on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think.
So yeah,
I feel like you'd have to throw Musetti in there again.
Yes.
Almost. Like he plays very well on grass, which is a little bit surprising, I think, considering his game style. I think, well, I was going to say Medvedev. He's won a slam, so not in this conversation.
Is taking a.
I wonder about Francisco Cerundolo.
That's a great dirt baller pick. I'm gonna need to step away for a moment. Baby Archie would like to be changed, and I will catch you all.
We will honor that request, Archie. All right.
In all likelihood, I'll be back not for this match, but for Alcaraz later on. Pleasure to see you both as always, and have a great day.
Enjoy, Zach.
Yeah. See you later, Zach.
All right. Well, we can continue the. By the way, I'm pleasantly surprised for Zverev that he has managed to save those 2 break points and now is at game point, because otherwise that match was going to run away for him very, very fast. But let's see if he can get this game. Yeah, I do like your Cerundolo pick for Wimbledon being in the mix there with that. Like he's proved he's won a couple of grass court titles. The forehand works really well on there, and he's proved himself to be in the mix. So yeah, I could see that potentially happening.
Yeah, I think in addition to and I'm saying that more like in addition to everyone that was already mentioned, I wouldn't pick him above a Fritz, for instance. I would have Fritz as a favorite ahead of him, but just more like throwing an additional name out there.
Yeah, just to be a bit different.
Yeah.
Not Zverev though. That's the one with most confidence Zverev wouldn't win.
Yeah, I don't know that he'll ever win Wimbledon. I think that would be.
It doesn't look like he's winning this match at the moment because he can't get past Sinner, who comes into the net and finishes that off beautifully. Yeah, Wimbledon. He'd be back in the mix for the US Open though. But I'm gonna say this now: the US Open in this scenario would probably be won by an American, and I would be going with Taylor Fritz or Francis Tiafoe winning it. Because Tiafoe always shows up for the US Open. I would probably also put Jack Draper in as one of the leaders. And I would say that's the one slam I would confidently put Draper. Like Draper will be a contender at Australian as well, no doubt. But I think he has an affinity with the US Open that a lot of other players don't.
I think those are good picks. I think Felix Auger-Aliassime could be in that conversation. He's got, both of his slam semifinals are at the US Open.
True.
So it's been a good tournament for him. And who else? Yeah, obviously, Tiafoe always shows up. Someone like Tommy Paul.
Yeah.
Has made some decent runs there before.
Tommy Paul at either Roland Garros or Wimbledon would be a contender as well.
I think he could be.
And in Australia,
sure. I think,
he's done well before, but he's definitely at Roland Garros and Wimbledon.
Yeah, he's kind of fallen off a little bit over the last 12 months. I think people forget his name a little more quickly, but we'll see how he rebounds this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep jumping in there with all the good picks and then leaving you to scramble. By the way, we've got a break point chance for Sin. We'll bring this conversation to a close in a moment, but I do want to. There's one other point I do want to ask you and what your thoughts are, Carson. It's a shame Zach's not here because I know pretty much. I would love to have heard his thoughts on this, but let's see if Sinner breaks here to get an early advantage. Can't break. That serve is too good from Zverev. So it's interesting that so far we've mentioned really established players, Carson, in our kind of who's leading the field picks. But we haven't mentioned these two very hot young talents coming through, well, already kind of seeded in our tournaments, Joao Fonseca and Leonard Tien. And is that because we're just too used to the status quo, or is it because even if you took all the Grand Slam champion out and it's an open field with an opportunity for them, that they're still not that likely to win one? Because that doesn't sit well with me. I do think that there are some slams where you would kind of look and go, yeah, they could win it.
I think they jump up higher in the conversation. I mean, I kind of superimposed the conversation onto like a 2026 season. And so like where everyone's level is right now, rather than if this were like 2030 or whatever, then for sure,
Yeah.
like
That's
Fonseca.
how I would pose it as well, 2026.
Yeah. So, I mean, throw Jakub Menchik in there as well, then another
Yes.
name I don't know that we mentioned, but I mean, Australia, US Open for sure. A couple where I think he would be contender at. So I think they're going to win slams. I do think all three of those players have areas of their games that they need to improve at before I would put them in the tier of slam contenders after Sinner and Alcaraz.
That's fair. Yeah, there's some development points. I think they've all got good wins or shown good performances against big players. Maybe not necessarily some of the players that we've mentioned. And that's maybe why they're not in the conversation. But I don't think we would be massively surprised in this hypothetical scenario that they would end up being the winners. Menchik on the hard court slams, as you mentioned. Fonseca, not just on the hard courts. I think he would love... I think pretty much any slam, apart, it's plausible. Most plausible would be Roland Garros, followed by probably the US Open, maybe, for him. And then Leonard Tien is... Again, he's a hard court player. That's where you're going to see him do it. So, and maybe that's it. Maybe they're also limited by how their games are on clay and grass, so their opportunities are less. And so there's a bit more pressure on the hard court slams for them, where it's actually quite competitive. That would be how I would see it. So,
It's an advantage that Fonseca has in that he grew up playing on clay.
Yeah.
Like he's more comfortable on it. I mean, for Leonard Tien, like that, there are not clay courts anywhere in the US. Like, that's not really a thing. Like you can count on one hand the number of clay court facilities that we have over here.
Yeah.
So American game styles just are not really ever developed for that style that you have to have in order to get comfortable on the dirt. For Jakub Menchik, I think the hard court ones especially would be good. I think that he has the serve that Wimbledon could be in play for him. Right now, I don't think his movement is close to where it needs to be for Roland Garros to be in serious consideration. Agreed.
Yeah, which is weird because he should be, like, again, the Czechs kind of play on all surfaces. They're kind of good on everything, but the guys in particular tend to be better on quicker courts. I'd say Czech women, they're a bit more all-rounders, and so whenever I think of Czech players, I think of the women. Which, by the way, if we had this conversation about the WTA, we would be here forever. If you just took all the Grand Slam champions out that draw. Like, it would be like, well, who other than Pegula and Anisimova in the mix? All of them.
Yep.
Fair.
There are 20 names out there.
Yeah, because you'd have Mboko waiting for her to win a slam, and Zverev waiting for her to win a slam. Like this conversation would take ages, but in that scenario, you take all the Grand Slam champions out, and it's a highly competitive draw, and it would still be really good quality as well.
Yeah.
Although, having said that, am I being unfair to the ATP if we took Sinkaraz and all the other Grand Slam champions, including Djokovic, out, that the quality would drop that much of the tournament?
That's a tough one. I mean, specifically with Sinkaraz and Novak, we are so used to seeing them in the latter stages of tournaments that it's hard to imagine anything else.
Yeah.
Even Medvedev is not a stranger to getting deep in the second week of a slam.
No.
And I mean, Fritz gets there once in a while. Tiafoe at the U.S. Open has gotten there. There's not a lot of consistency, though, outside of those three and Zverev.
Yeah.
So I think it would be as wide open, but there's less established names, it feels like, and less young established names.
Like, yeah, there's no one. You're right, because if you get into a list of young established WTA players, again, you're kind of spoiled for choice because you've got Andreeva and Boko, Jovic. The list keeps getting bigger with Valentova coming into the mix, or Noskova, if you want to include her, because she's still pretty young. My joint, Alex Ayala.
And that's like all the players, with the exception of Valentova, those are top 30 players right now. Like,
yeah,
they're already seated at slams. Like, Fonseca is borderline top 30. Like, Tien is around 25, I think.
Yeah. Menchik is top 20.
He is.
For now, depending on how Miami goes.
For another 2 weeks, probably. We'll see how his Miami tournament goes.
You're expecting an early exit in Miami?
Not necessarily, but I mean, if you just get to the semifinals, he's still dropping like 500 points, 600 points. So it's just a lot of points at that stage of the tournament. But there aren't, part of it is the physicality of the ATP, but there's not as many young, it's harder for young players to come through. Yeah, like you look at the WTA rankings, there's plenty of like 16 and 17-year-olds that are ranked somewhere. That's not as much of a thing on the ATP rankings.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. And I think, twas ever thus to a certain extent. Like, it just takes a little bit longer for the guys to come through unless they are an incredibly special talent like an Alcaraz and a Sinner. I mean, we were raving at Alcaraz since he was 16 years old. Sinner was, I remember when he made that big splash again, pushing Rafa for a set at Roland Garros, nearly 6 years ago now. So 5.5, because that was the winter Roland Garros. Unless they are especially special, then it's a lot harder to do that, and kind of has always been that. Like, even your super young players who did really well, like a Bjorn Borg and Andre Agassi, were always your outliers. Boris Becker as well. So I'm also moving back to Philander and Michael Chang. Anyway, that's kind of what we've always worked with to a certain extent. But obviously, and everyone's wondering, why have we spent so long talking about this tangent? Well, partly because, at the moment, nothing is kind of catching our eye in terms of tennis. Like, we haven't seen anything massively that's going to make a big highlight reel. Sinner looks pretty comfortable right now. But the reason I started this conversation was, of course, like Zverev, as Zach said earlier, is this kind of this anointed future champion that hasn't materialized. And, to bring it back to why I asked the question, it's interesting that even though he would be a favorite to win at least one, he wouldn't suddenly become the overwhelming favorite, despite his consistency, were you to remove all the Grand Slam champions, as this thought experiment suggests.
Yeah, I mean, he would be in the tier 1 for sure.
Yes.
Like a contender nearly everywhere. And he's in that weird spot where it's almost like he would be the top contender, and who else would you put in the group with him? And you wouldn't expect him to win like 3 of the 4 slams.
No.
It's like a really, I mean, it is just
He'd
a
be
really
the top
weird
seed at
slot
every
that
slam, but no one would be confident he'd win it.
Yeah. It's like he'd be the Marcelo Rios who gets to number 1 without ever winning a Grand Slam. Like, bit of a poor game from Zverev there on the Sinner serve. Not really doing anything with returns.
I mean, one of the things I have noticed from this match, you know, when I've been watching what's going on, there's been a lot of Zverev attempts at shots. They've been nowhere near the court.
I think, yeah, I mean, maybe just slow in adjusting to how fast the ball is moving on the courts. A little bit slow, like physically getting to them, and slow in reading them, perhaps. But yeah, hard to know. There have been a lot of balls that he's hitting that are nowhere close to the lines.
Exactly. Yeah. Which you'd think, you know, this is not necessarily a setup that he should struggle with, but as Sinner goes wide there. I mean, I do feel like Zverev's holding his own a little more in this set. I think saving those break points in that first game has probably helped him settle down, feel a bit more confident. He's 100% on first serve points won in this set. So is Sinner, but Zverev's found more first serves with 10 versus Sinner's 5. Yeah, I mean, it's looking very, very good for Jannik Sinner right now. But I do feel like Zverev's settled down at least a little bit.
Yeah, settling down a little bit. Seeing a pretty nice rally here.
Yeah, very extended rally here. Zverev looks like he's going for it a little bit more. But Sinner is just comfortable just rallying at the moment. Now I've got a backhand cross court to the backhand from Zverev. Sinner's going to change direction. Oh, he's just missed it. He tried to go up the line, but he just missed it. Love. That was like a hero or zero moment for Sinner. But he's so good, he can get away with that.
See if Zverev can make this a comfortable service game now.
Well, I think he held comfortably in the last service game he had. I'm pretty
that
sure
one was
paying much attention.
Did it get? I think Sinner got to 30. I can't remember.
I know there was a big game, the first one. I thought the second one was a 15 or was more like to 15 or something like that. But
the other one service game was like 9 minutes or something like this.
Yeah, that first service game was crazy. It's extended the match a bit. That's probably the game of the match so far. But a lot more people joining now, and just to say that, you know, if you're just joining us, really Sinner, like it looked like a serve contest for the first 4 games. Then Sinner just Sinner just held firm, and Zverev crumbled for a few games, and Sinner stormed to the first set 4 games in a row. Zverev held off Sinner, breaking him again at the opening game of this set, and now it's back to a serving contest. Although the 2 big extended rallies that we've seen, like 20 plus, it's been Sinner who's been the one who's made a mistake to end the rally, which is I do find interesting. Not because like that's something you see a lot with anyone against Zverev. I wouldn't imagine Jannik Sinner doing that though regularly. But I don't think it's going to be something. I don't think it's going to be a big problem for him because he's not letting rallies get that long.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen, like the couple of rallies, and it hasn't been a lot of rallies that have gone super long, but the couple of rallies that have gone longer, there just comes a point where it looks like Sinner is trying to just smash a ball and end the point, and like he's okay with whether it's a winner or whether it's out a little bit. Yeah, his not fantastic history and super hot weather is fairly well documented. So I think he's okay at a certain point, deciding on some of these rallies that he's just going to smash the ball and whatever happens, happens.
Although, I mean, we don't know Sinner's record. In my mind, and maybe it's because of that 2020 US Open final where both players were cramping, but I don't think of Zverev as loving the hot weather either.
I think I agree with you. Like, I don't think he loves it. I think Sinner loves it less.
Fair.
Of the two is what I would say. But, I mean, Zverev is the one down a set right now. So, it's not like he's in love with this type of condition either.
I think I don't think he's in love with the conditions that Jannik Sinner's giving him right now. I have to say, I mean, obviously we are nowhere near this match being finished. That's a brutal forehand from Sinner. Zverev gets it back, and then Sinner finishes the job at the net. 15-love. He's looking imperious here. This is exactly the tournament that Jannik Sinner needed after the kind of questions about the losses he had the last sort of couple of months. You know, unexpectedly losing to Novak in a match he should have won, unexpectedly losing to Menchik in a match that on paper he definitely should have won, but just couldn't deal as well with Menchik's purple patches as maybe you would have thought he could. But here he's kind of made his way through. He saw off a really spirited challenge from João Fonseca, dismissed Leonard Tien, looks locked in here. Regardless of how this, like if he wins this and gets the final, regardless of how that final goes, unless it's against Medvedev, this is already kind of Sinner back on track, and these alarm bells that were ringing were probably for no good reason.
Yeah, I don't know where. I mean, look, it's tennis media. If he loses to Alcaraz in the final, they will find a way to raise more alarm bells about it. But yeah, it's just alarmism mostly. I don't think that there's anything to be too concerned about right now.
That's an insanely accelerated forehand from Zverev, which puts him in good position in the rally and eventually wins in the point, putting Sinner on the back foot, 30-15. That's probably the biggest forehand he's hit all match. So yeah, that was that was interesting from Zverev there. But yeah, look, we like to put panic buttons on players and always talk about how they're not performing as well as we think they could be or should be. I think when it comes to Sinner v Alcaraz, yes, there does seem to be a sense that Alcaraz has a slight edge in the rivalry right now, although they haven't played an official match since the ATP finals, which Sinner won indoors. So we'll have to see how that goes. We've got another extended rally here that Sinner's got drawn into. He's gone long on the forehand. That's all.
He's also walking a little bit gingerly after that point.
Is he cramping?
Looks like he's favoring his left leg a little bit.
I wonder if he's cramping. What were we just saying about Sinner and hot weather? We just hit the hour mark.
We did, and we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, he's big point coming up. 30 or second serve on the Sinner serve, and he's got to be careful because if he loses this, Zverev is in control of the set. But Zverev sets up Sinner forehand and then backhand cross court Sinner. So the Zverev backhand is going to get the line short for Sinner to just drop shot, and Zverev doesn't even bother moving for it.
Yeah, beautiful slice to end that point.
Yeah. He keeps Zverev on the back foot. Like Zverev is extending the rally here. We're just waiting to see what Sinner would come up with to finish it, and that was a smart move given he wasn't finding winners just by hitting through the court. So
game point now, and we're going to deuce.
Uncharacteristic error from Sinner again.
His error counted. It feels like his error count has went up.
Yeah. This is the clearest level drop we've seen from Sinner this match. Like up to this point, he was playing way better than this for the last sort of hour. 55 minutes.
Oh, that's nice from Zverev. Yeah, am I a couple
on the
seconds
return.
ahead of you, I think?
Sorry?
I think I'm a few seconds ahead of you on the stream.
That's fine. We can let you react.
That was a beautiful forehand return winner.
I mean, he just got a racket on it, and that was enough. And suddenly, we're looking like this match getting extended after feeling fairly comfortable that Sinner was going to win this, and we were getting very distracted for a lot of that first hour. Oh, Sinner just served an ace to save it. Never mind.
135.
And again, one close game is not necessarily a reason to hit the panic buttons for Jannik Sinner, because he and Alcaraz both have games like this from time to time against anyone. So let's see how he navigates these next couple of points. Like back to deuce as a second serve. So he's got to try and finish this job here. Sinner to try and keep himself in this set. Second serve, really short. Zverev is leading into it. Forehand Sinner right back at Zverev's forehand up the line. Really short. Sinner is going to drop shot it again. Zverev is just going to scoop up. Sinner's going to try and lob Zverev. Is that going to work? Zverev gets there, but he tries to run around it rather than hit a tweener. And there's nothing. There was just nothing on that forehand. It just limped its way into the net. Advantage Sinner.
A curious decision from Zverev at the end of this point to run around it again.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like he just didn't have time.
He didn't, because he got there. Yeah, it didn't hit cleanly. It just didn't come off the center of the racket, or might have framed it, but let's have a look. Just not a good forehand at all. He should have tweened it. Unreturnable serve from Sinner, gets himself out of trouble, 3-all. So yeah,
for Sinner holding his nerves there at the end of a pretty important game. He drops that one. The momentum of this set definitely swings.
And then suddenly we're like, okay, are we going 3?
Yeah.
Does Sinner want to go 3? Not really. We've been looking at is this the Vienna final again? Except Sinner came from behind in that final. Right, how's Zverev going to respond here after that disappointment? Where's his head at? Sinner just finds a return on the line. Backhand Sinner. The backhand is Zverev. Looped up. Sinner's going to come in and attack the forehand right on the baseline. Zverev can't do anything. Thunk. Into the net. Love 15. Love 15. Sinner. I feel like Sinner's kind of done being out there and wants to finish it. I just feel like he's not rushing, but he doesn't want to be out there much longer. Just from his body language, just from the way he's playing.
Yeah, I don't think he wants another hour of this heat.
Definitely not. Chica, what do you mean by 3-2 Zverev? Do you think Zverev's going to win in 5? Or is that where you are in the score at the moment? And are you a Zverev fan? Or are you just German? Is that a double fault from Zverev? It is. Love 30. And we're opening up another opportunity for Jannik Sinner here.
See if he can clamp down and get the break here.
Tell you what, someone else who definitely doesn't like these conditions, Zverev's dad has been wearing a towel over his head this entire match. Here we go. Good first serve from Zverev. That's going to help.
Great serve out wide.
15-30. Yes, and I really struggled to kind of stretch for that and get it in court. Couldn't. All right, let's see. Because Zverev serves the only thing that really can save him right now, unless Sinner bails out of a rally. First serve delivered. Backhand in play from Sinner. Forehand Zverev to the Sinner backhand. They're trading up the middle of the court now, keeping it neutral right now. Again, Sinner attacks the forehand. Zverev is going to go loop the backhand over. Can't deal with Sinner's pace. 15-40.
Big moment now. 2 breakaway opportunities for Jannik Sinner. A really important point of this match.
Yeah.
Swing either way could be the end of it.
Now, remember, Zverev did have 40 on his serve to start the set, and he missed it. And then, obviously, yeah, so you can see all 3 of Sinner's break points missed within that first game of the set. As Zverev delivers, goes up and wide, trying to do a T serve. So we'll see what happens here. Sinner is wanted to convert here because that, if he'd broken the opening game, that would have just consolidated the momentum. Here, it's to wrestle back control of the match because he's lost a little bit of control here. Backhand cross court from Zverev. Backhand Sinner. Backhand Zverev up the line. Just missed. He's just missed it. 4-3 Sinner.
I think it was the right decision from Zverev on that point. The court was there. Just couldn't quite keep it inside of the lines.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's what we said earlier. Zverev doesn't take risks. Well, he did there, and it was worth the risk. It's just a shame it didn't pay off for him. So we've got Zverev now down a break. And yeah, as I was saying earlier, it feels to me like Carson, like after particularly that last game, feeling like the match was kind of back in the balance, Sinner feels in control again.
He does, and I say it all the time, but how many times do we see someone fail to convert a break point and then turn around in their next service game, they get broken? Like, just happens all the time, but Zverev not able to hold his serve there. And the way tennis scoreboard works, it gets very late, very early sometimes. So Sinner with an opportunity to serve to go up 5-3 if he holds his serve.
And then it just feels like a case of when, not if, were he to hold the serve here. And, you know, he's been comfortably in front. So he's been, well, not comfortable, but sort of, he's been the favourite since the start of this match. And this has kind of gone how we thought. Zverev has definitely put up some resistance. We saw that the first sort of 6 games or so of the set, but back to business as usual in that last game. Let's see if Sinner can maintain this momentum. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, whilst we're waiting to see if Sinner can continue this momentum, where are you? As we see, we're going to another extended rally here, and Zverev again attacking with the forehand, trying to bludgeon Sinner as much as possible. Sinner just keeping himself in it with counter punching as best he can. Oh, what an angle on that forehand from Zverev!
That's very nice from him. Felt like he was dictating that point, which he has not been doing a lot of in this match, but was able to start attacking early on, created a little bit of a name for himself and took advantage.
94-mile-an-hour winner. Don't associate those with Zverev, do you?
Not often.
Not often. So Sinner knows he needs to try and keep making these points quick. Zverev finds a way to keep the point in play. Oh, great inside-out forehand from Sinner. And then, oh my word. Here we go. Sinner's going to try and finish. Just keep Sinner pushed back. Zverev eventually just couldn't get a ball back over the net. It's 15-all.
Jannik was going into the net there anyway already, so looking to shorten some of these points on his own serve even.
$15-all. Sinner going to try and deliver this serve up the tee. Too good. Zverev can only find a tram line. 30-15, and even then he had no control over it. Got a racket on it. That was about it. Exactly what Sinner needed there. So yeah, we'll see how Sinner kind of comes through the service game. We'll keep half an eye on it. So I may interrupt your answer here, Carson, but are we expecting to see a similar sort of match play out when Alcaraz plays Medvedev later?
I don't know. I don't entirely know. Medvedev has been playing fantastically the last few weeks. And I think his game style, the way Medvedev is playing, his game style probably matches up a little bit better against Sinner than Alcaraz, but I think it will be a challenge tonight. I think Medvedev, he'll get a couple of looks, I feel like. So see if he can take advantage of it.
Over the baseline, 40-15. Yeah. It's very. I see what you mean. I think Medvedev can make their match a bit closer than Zverev's been able to make against Sinner. But yeah, I could see him and giving Alcaraz some test. But yeah, I just think that still, whatever version of Medvedev it is, Alcaraz has just got something to kind of work around all of Medvedev's strengths, really. Like, if it's going to be a case of outlasting or being athletic, then Alcaraz wins that match, and that's what he does really well against Medvedev. So he's going to try and close this game out. Goes up, he's got Zverev on the move, goes cross court with the backhand, still trading backhands now. Except Zverev's backhand really accelerated through, puts Sinner on the defense, and it's 40-30. I'm interested to know why you think that. Say if this is swapped and it was Medvedev playing Sinner and Alcaraz playing Zverev, why you think Medvedev would be giving Sinner much more of a problem, especially given the way that head-to-head has been working out in recent years?
Yeah. I think part of it is conditions of Indian Wells. Part of it, Sinner is just a little bit more... He's great at what he does, but you do have an idea of what he's going to do. He's going to sit behind the baseline mostly, and Medvedev can play that game style. With Alcaraz, he's changing it up all the time, coming in sometimes, hitting tons of different types of shots. There's just more to read from Alcaraz, where with Sinner, it's like you have a good idea of what he's going to do. He's just going to do it better than you.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think he still does it better than Medvedev for the most part. I think Sinner has to be kind of sick or compromised to lose. I can see what you mean by Medvedev maybe running him close, maybe even taking a set, but ultimately, I still feel relatively confident about Sinner taking it. I guess it depends on where Sinner's head's at. Like, if Sinner's not ready for that kind of mental battle, then maybe Medvedev is in there. But right now, I think it looks like he would have been in this situation. By the way, I love the way he closed that match out, that game out, Sinner for 5-3. And now he's really attacking the service game, really going for that return. Love 15. Wants to get this job done.
It does feel like he doesn't want another changeover here. He just wants to be done with it. Get out of this heat.
Don't blame him, to be honest. I think some of us would mind being, I think in this situation, just getting out of these conditions. Drop shot from Zverev. Sinner's going to get there. Oh, he can't get it over the net. Just clips the top. 15 all.
Good point from Zverev. Making Sinner move around a little bit, and then pretty good drop shot to close it out.
Yeah, just dropped Sinner back, and that meant that having to run forward. But having said that, I think the redrop from Sinner, if I had gone over the net, that would have been just too much for Zverev to get to.
Zverev didn't really follow up that ball at all.
And he's just gone over the baseline again with that backhand, 15-30. And the momentum feels very strong. It feels like the end of that second set, that first set even, again. Second set for Zverev at 15-30. Yeah, it just feels like the story of both sets is competitive first half, or at least sort of serve dominated first half. Sinner controlled second half. Although, having said that, was a good second serve from Zverev. 30 all. So maybe speaking too soon. Maybe Zverev can hold here and force Sinner to serve it out. Sinner gets that return in play. They've got a forehand from Zverev. Winner. 40-30.
Good serve. Sinner couldn't do much on the return. Just teed it up for Zverev to put it away. game point now.
Try to extend this match. Sinner gets the ball back in play, goes on the attack, but I think Zverev's just gone wide there. Deuce. Again, good return. Like, it's interesting. When Sinner's got a clean return, Zverev's not doing much about it. Can't do much about it. Got an ace there from Zverev.
Yeah.
Too good. From the world number 4. Go to 1 hour 17 on the clock. World 4. Amateur will serve 5-4. And Sinner will serve this one out. I think it's interesting here, Carsten, that this set's been a lot more competitive than the first. Because I feel like the first set was over in just over half an hour, and this one, yeah, this feels more like a competitive Sinner-Zverev match.
Yeah, it's been a lot more competitive. Sinner had that little bit of a dip early on, which certainly helped with it, but I don't know. I feel like he'll get it done in this service game here. I don't think we'll be around for too much longer in this match.
Well, we're getting very close to Zach's prediction, which he predicted a 6-3, 6-4 win for Sinner. 6-2, 6-4 ain't bad as a outcome. I mean, look, Zach is like a coin flip when it comes to predictions. Half the time he's right, half the time you don't nowhere near. By the way, speaking of predictions, we do have a video predicting where various members of the Talking Tennis community have contributed to predicting the outcome of the women's final that's happening tomorrow between Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina. And, well, it was fairly split between everybody. Some are saying Sabalenka, some are saying Rybakina. Which is a sign that this is probably going to be a good match, given there isn't really a consensus on which way that one's going.
I hope it's a really good final. So, should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
I'm hoping it's going to be good because I've asked my girlfriend if she wants to watch it with me, and we've not actually tried to watch a tennis match together yet. So this better be good.
Yep.
If
hopefully
not,
it's a good one. Right. Yep.
Sorry, go on.
If it's not, just say your TV cut out for a minute and then turn on an Australian Open final in between them.
I'm sure she wouldn't notice the fact it's gone from a green and purple court to a all blue court. Not at all. Love 15. Sinner's not having his own way here. He's got a second serve now. But I was going to say, look, if that one's a dud, then just ask her to stick around for the Sinkeras final that seems to be following.
There's no way both of them can be bad.
I mean, have you ever watched a bad Sinkeras match?
I don't think so.
No.
Not that comes to mind.
Even that Rome final they played last year or the US Open final, yeah, they were slightly more one-sided, but there were just these moments of doubt as to the outcome.
Yep.
Sinner win a set of the US Open. The first set tiebreak in Rome. Was it tiebreak or was it 7-5? It went pretty deep, that set.
Yeah.
So, you always guarantee to get one or two decent sets out of those two. Drop shot into the net from Sinner. That's not good play from him. He really is desperate to finish it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a great time for it, I feel like. But yeah, 15:30 now. A little bit of an opening for Zverev. Let's see if he can do anything with it.
Tell you what, though, Sinner's not going to be happy because, at this point, we'd be an hour into the men's final this time tomorrow. If he's in it, you would feel like he's not going to be super happy playing Alcaraz in these conditions. 30 all with an excellent ace from Sinner. Yeah, I was going to say, I was
you
starting
did
to get
take
worried.
advantage of. Sorry, go ahead. You go ahead. I interrupted you.
No, well, no, it's fine. I was just going to say that I was worried that we were going to assume it was a Sinker-Raz final. Zverev breaks back and then changes everything. Ace from Sinner set up match point. What was your point,
Couple of really
Carson?
good aces from him. Down the tee. 1 point away now.
Match point, Jannik Sinner to get to the Indian Wells final for the first time in his career. Unbelievably. Obviously, last year didn't play. Year before, he was stopped in the semi-finals by Carlos Alcaraz in a decent 3-set match. Can he get it this time? Tries to go for the ace again, but doesn't get it. So we've got a second serve coming up on match point. Zverev standing really, really far back. He's hidden by the score. Second serve from Sinner. Zverev attacks on the inside out. Backhand Sinner. Zverev is going to step on the backhand. Backhand Sinner up the line. Zverev is going to go for the forehand back to the Sinner. Backhand, who goes into the corner. Now goes to the inside out forehand. Pushes Zverev back. Forces the error. And Sinner roars in celebration. He's glad to be through. Glad that match is done. 6-2, 6-4. There was definitely moments where Zverev tests him, but Carson, I don't think we were that much in doubt about Jannik Sinner today.
He was, jumped ahead fairly early on in the first set. I think he won the last 5 games of that set. Second set, a little bit tighter. Zverev made it a little more competitive, raised his level. Jannik did drop a little bit earlier on, but around an hour and a half today, I think Sinner will be happy to get out of these conditions with the win.
He will be indeed. He will be indeed. I mean, as I was saying earlier, the final will be played in very, very similar conditions. He can't be looking forward to that, can he? Whoever he's playing.
Yeah, I think it's a little. Is it the exact same time or an hour later? Sometime. It'll be roughly at the same time in the afternoon.
It's about the same time. So yeah, the match. Okay, to be fair, the match would start about half an hour later than this one did. So in 24 hours, we'll be an hour into that final.
We are expecting similar conditions, I think, in Indian Wells tomorrow. So important for him to get his recovery started. He's got a couple hours head start on that in front of whoever his opponent will be. But yeah, I mean, really good match for him. Nothing like overly exciting about it, frankly, but yeah, just very solid tennis.
Well, nothing overly exciting about it, given we spent half of it imagining a world with what would happen with no Grand Slam champions in the draw. We just had some good tennis chat during this, and I hope everyone watching enjoyed that too. So yeah, that was a good one. I think, well, good one. I think it was a good time. The match, we've seen enough like it. Jannik Sinner is into the Indian Wells final. Bish bash bosh. He's going to be happy with that. And we are halfway to a Sinker-Raz final. Not really much more that Zverev could do in that match, I don't think, Carson, other than take more risks than he did.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that about him for a while, so we'll see if it ever happens. But yeah, he played fairly well today. Level was not where it needed to be in the first set, but he had a good second set. I think, it's just got to try to keep building and finding tools to get him a little bit closer to Jannik Sinner.
Yeah. No notes for Jannik Sinner. Other than he seemed to be in a rush to get out of it, which is down to didn't seem to hurt him too much in that match. Do you expect him to be on top form for the final tomorrow, Carson?
I think it'll be similar level to what we saw today. Very, very hot conditions. So not his favorite at all. I think whoever he's playing will, I mean, they'll obviously be playing in the same conditions. So yeah, that level of heat is just difficult to do anything in. So I'm not exactly expecting the most exciting final ever, but it'll be entertaining enough to make it worth it for sure.
And who do you think will be playing, Alcaraz or Medvedev?
I'm leaning Alcaraz. Get our first Alcaraz match of the year in the Indian Wells final. And yeah, I feel like if Sinner's playing Medvedev, I think Sinner will win. If he plays Alcaraz, I might take Alcaraz just ahead of him.
Yeah, I probably would too. Maybe let's see how Alcaraz is against Medvedev and he's not limping off the court or anything like that.
For sure.
So, but on paper, yeah, that sounds good. Sounds accurate to me, to be honest. I would say the same, Carson. All right, well, you can enjoy watching the Sinner and Medvedev match. Sinner Medvedev, that's potentially predicted it's not going to happen. Maybe. Well, we are definitely doing the final tomorrow on Talking Tennis. But before that, we will be covering Alcaraz and Medvedev, which is coming up after this. So not too long before they come out, probably like about 10 minutes. So we're going to have a bit of a break. And we'll hand you over to the team covering that match. Carson, thanks for keeping me company watching this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nick. It's a great time.
All right. Yeah, it's been a great time with you, mate. And great time with all of you in the live chat. Thank you for being with our random tangents. Take a break and then hop over to the Alcaraz-Medvedev match. And if you want to see our coverage of the ATP final at Indian Wells tomorrow, then come back to see whether we have Alcaraz or Sinner Medvedev. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'll see you soon. In the meantime, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.